Welcome back, or welcome as well, to the Serendipitous Deck Sermons. My name is Megan. My pronouns are they and she. Today I have a card that I have pulled beforehand and listened to, and so I am just going to read you the information, and also just to get that out of the way as well, I'm not doing the Reiki thing today. I have another exercise instead. Oh, this is from an Ireland deck, which they stick the spire and everything as if we're proud of it. Anyway, that is the card. It is a Joker in like a lemony kind of, oh, that's actually appropriate, isn't it? It's yellowy outfit, but it kind of reminds me as well of like the Magician card in Tarot, which is number one, because of this whole idea of this person holding each of the suits, right? So like each of the tools kind of a thing that makes the whole, so you have everything you need, which is like also something that came up with this card. So anyway, I guess a random little bit of extra news stuff, because I don't know how much about my own spiritual growth, in what way to share it or what, like, to update it or whatever it is, but I've had some really interesting ongoing, it's always ongoing, literally spiritual existence is what we are doing here, so the growth of that is also going to be a part of that. May it always continue to grow and expand, because like in ways that you think all the stuff, or like it'll only get more intense in certain areas or something, but something wholly and completely new happened to me. And so what I would bring to the table after that is cry when you feel the need to, even if you don't know what it's about, especially with like not just what's going on in our physical world right now, because there is absolutely stuff that will be felt in the all and there's many a reason to be crying, um but just in general as well, because that'll be felt on an energetic spiritual version. It's trying to be released. Allow it. There is amazingness to be found. And it's like your tear ducts, your urinary tract, your pores in every part of your body that release sweat should be on the same like understanding of physical places of release. So we release things through maybe doing cord cutting or burning incense or speaking it into existence or writing it down, and different kind of processing ways that are like mental and spiritual. But the physical ways, tear ducts absolutely should be on your little list of things that are counted in within that, because it led me one of the times recently, I'm crying, and I thought I knew what it was about, and then I got this notion it also helped that I was fully in the dark as well. Like I found myself wanting to turn the light off, and then it was like I didn't have everything that was around me. It's almost like a sensory deprivation moment, where I found out that I wasn't like I was crying for what I thought it was, but there was also another part of my existence in the past that I was crying about, and through that experience, I met a past life version of myself, like one of my own spiritual existence's ancestors. I didn't know that was ever going to happen for me, and I've heard people speak about it, and I don't know. I've been curious about it in general, and I could never have planned this. I had no idea it would happen that way, and it's been intensely amazing. Um, and yeah, there's always more. There is always more and more and more, and cry is something that's very useful. Alrighty, so moving on to the card I mean, if you're interested in me speaking about stuff like that in general, I kind of wanted to keep it more central to the cards, because I could just talk for really long amounts of time about anything spiritual, really. And for the most part, it is from my own experience, because I've stayed away. I mean, I'll learn things because you're in the world, so like you kind of don't have the I'm not completely cutting myself off from everything else. I like learning from random bits of writing and people's art and authors and like just people's perceptions of this world, because it is the universe trying to communicate different versions of itself through each other's existences. It's important to listen to each other, but there's also just something very specific about the journey that I tend to be on in every scenario, where I'm like, no, I want to figure this out myself. And it'd be helpful sometimes to have listened to people. Um, but that's who I am, so that's okay. And you know, we go on, we learn, and I accept that that is my journey. And it's always worth it because then I know exactly where my specific boundary is, and it's because I found out, and it's not because someone else told me not to go that direction or down that road or whatever it is. But do, you know, listen to yourself once you've figured that out. Don't have to learn it again. Be good advice for that. But yeah, if that is something that you would be open to or have any questions about, leave it in the comments. I am not necessarily sure like what other trajectories to kind of bring this on, but I want to today just go down the route of speaking about this card and then leave it at that. Okay, yeah, I'm in my bleed day. It's a lot. So, from the energy of this, sorry, exactly the same blue. Also, this someone like you phrase, someone like blue, was then the, like, that song has been in my head, and it's not been on the radio or anywhere that I've been listening to whatsoever. I got sick of it back in the day, and so I'm like, why are you in there? And then I just started giving in, and I'm like, alright, I'll sing it, fine. But I tried to change the lyrics a little. I do that anyway, moving right along. Also, the color blue's been around, and then literally the blue nail polish, when I went in to go buy a nail polish, was someone like blue, and I'm like, right, well, that's the one I'm getting. Funny enough, from this same brand, the last time that I was there when I was buying nail polish, I was curious about which color to pick, and Neil Young's Heart of Gold came on in the shop, and they've got them named after songs, obviously. One of them was named Heart of Gold, so I bought that one, obviously. Like, how can you ignore that kind of synchronicity? It's been a fun journey with the nail polish, apparently. So, you know, it's everywhere, this stuff. It's the entire universe. Existence is so beautiful. Okay. So warm sand, sleep. I'm just going to read out the energies that I got at the start, and then I will go into the specifics of what I got from it in case anything is the most important. Yeah, no, all of it is eat an orange. That's something helpful. So, okay, warm sand, sleepy, beach town, friends, weekend away, just joyful energy AF, and yes, I just used that phrase. And then a steady pace of movement, like with ease. Lemonade that's like tart and sweet, so that kind of enjoyment and like happiness and sweetness of life and all that kind of, and make lemons life out of lemon, that thing. Then I asked for a specific location, so the place that I found this was around Leeson Street, but actually the location and the time of day were like when it was getting dark, like a sunset moment, and it might have been on a warm day, but this was not found in a beach town or anything. It just has these energies of like the kind of joy and lightness, and you know, when you go away on holidays and like you have taken off the right amount of days from work, and you know, all the things are organized and you all have enough food and you're like renting a house together, and like there's just, and you're in your 20s, or you know, like there's just little to be worried about and only things to look forward to, like that kind of energy, right? Okay, so yeah, tall buildings was another part of that just because it was at Leeson Street. And use what you have and the rest will find you was what came through when I started asking for specific messages from it. Then we got keep going. Looks pretty damn confident on a unicycle. I've never had to go on one. Okay, and then numbers that came out, which they don't always, are sevens in general, because I tried to write 77 or 777, but it wasn't that. It was just like seeing sevens, and then I guess multiple, or not multiples of seven, numbers that make up two sevens, so therefore like sevens in numerology, like because the next number that came up was 61 specifically. And then cold dunks, or like being able to access easily a pool of water nearness, and then that kind of tied in with like this feeling where I'm like, I kind of wanted to tell whoever's listening to this to go with whatever crying comes up, so that sort of makes sense. And now that I see the blue on the back, there's also like that tying, I'm wearing blue too, wee. Anyway, so yeah, that makes sense, I guess, with the beach town thing. Moving right along. So this was the message from it. in a more profound way, I guess, or whatever. But so joy is the easiest. I'll just read what it says. Your joy spreads. It's not a selfish energy. Joy spreads itself without much effort at all. It is the easiest energy to emit. What have I written here? Oh, outward. Sure. I'm saying sure to my writing. It is the easiest energy to emit outward because you don't have to try. When you're joyful, that emits like so easily and without even trying whatsoever. I'm missing kind of words right now. It's okay. But in comparison to if you think about another energy that you may feel or be emitting at any point in time, yeah, joy is probably the strongest. Yeah, it's like the lightest and the easiest and all this kind of whatnot. So yeah, the field, the energy field is attuned to it, so I think it easily translates. It doesn't force or manipulate its way across the field. So allow this in yourself and know this. It is easy to be in joy once you allow it. Eat an orange, hug yourself, skip. Like when you're walking, I don't care who's around. Do yourself a favor and skip somewhere, even if it's just for a few steps, whatever age you are. I guess I should say whatever gender and all that crap, but like do not put yourself in a box because of like the body you're born in or the identity that you hold. That don't do that to yourself. And then spin move, which I do whenever I have to move around or whatever. I go spin move, like it's a game, not game show, a game in general. So the exercise that I actually have for you today, instead of Reiki healing or me emitting out a channeled energy from what this card is, from either a memory that you have in your life or just the feeling of joy that you get because like you bought yourself that nice coffee today, or something like a fiver is on the ground, or oh, 222 when I said that. I wish you much abundance. You know, like anything that it is that brings you that little bit of joy. That does not have to occur for you to feel that joy. So allow it right now. Allow it later in your day. Allow it at any given time, just because you are allowed to allow it within yourself, because you exist. And then I'll add to that, because there was another part of this which is specifically about like when I'm writing, allow this in yourself and you know that this is a thing. I've been through this, which is why I'll say it specifically. When there is this much horrific action going on our planet, I mean, not like there hasn't been a time when there really isn't any at all. You know, always vote for or like manifest peace rather than being anti something. I think it will help us going forward specifically. Anyway, words matter, but just because there is negativity being pushed onto others completely unjustly, just because that is occurring within this world on systemic levels, in direct physical action levels, in your own life en masse, like, does not mean that you have to feel guilt over feeling joy. In fact, negativity and those doing evil things continue to win over if everyone else then feels like they are not allowed to enjoy the little moments that do occur within their lives. You know, it just brings all of the energy down to a lowering of self-worth in general. So releasing that guilt and that shame around feeling joy. I mean, we already had layers of guilt and shame from everything that the Catholic Church has done to us, from what capitalism does to us, from what patriarchy and hierarchical ideas about this world have done to us, and just living in a human body is shameful in the fucking first place, apparently. Like, there's already lots of layers within one's own psyche to move through when it comes to this specific stuff. But like allowing it continues to be its own journey, learning how to allow that within yourself at any given moment, but also when good things happen, when little random moments of joy like actually occur to you. Like you're allowed to keep that, stay within that, remember that, and not like shame yourself out of feeling that joy. And especially not because, oh, there's other people that don't. Like that's not getting us anywhere at all, and it doesn't help those who are getting treated in whatever way it is you've guilted yourself about, you know. um it in a sense actually steals any, like, you could use the energy that you have used when you're guilting and shaming yourself over your joy, you could use that energy instead to like do something about helping people, which would, you know, just a side note. But yeah, show up in the way that is authentic to you, and we will have every single piece that we need to move forward as a collective, as the collective that we deserve from each other. And cry and eat an orange. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it at that for today and for this week. And I may do these every 2 weeks because I kind of want to stick my energy completely on the other projects that I'm doing, which I mean are not going to be something that are seen for a really long time, but they matter to me a lot. But we'll see. The week after I bleed, I have like every ounce of energy in the world, and then it kind of just goes downhill for the rest of the month. So we will see. But whether I see you next week or the week after that, know that you are so loved. You are so welcome in this space. You are welcome on this planet because you exist. You are so, so, so loved. And I really appreciate that you tune in to something like this and that you tune into yourself. That matters. Okay. Thank you again.